Hello, welcome to this video. This video is brought to you by Ecoholics. In this video, we'll learn about the supply of money. So here, first of all, the most important thing, the definition. What is the supply of money? The supply of money means the total monetary media available to the society in connection with the transaction of the economic activity. It means whatever the supply of money is with public or is with banks, it considered as a total money supply in the economy. Now, supply of money plays a crucial role in determining two important factors. So first, the factor, that is price level. Second one is a rate of interest. First one, price level. Money supply determines the price level. It means if we have money supply more, that we are denoting with MS. So if the supply of money is more, it means the lot of currency or the fresh currency is with public, and that currency also with the banking sector, financial sector. It means the rate of interest. So rate of interest is small r, rate of interest will go down. So this is the relationship between increase in the money supply and the rate of interest. Because when we have a lot of money supply in the economy, it means banks flooded with the surplus cash. And what happened that banks, the lending rate is reduced by the banks. That we have seen in the period of demonetization, when everyone deposited the old notes of currency, then the interest rate went down in the first few months after demonetization. So the saving rate will go down whenever the money supply is more. The opposite case, when the money supply is less, it means there is a more demand for money. And demand for money for which purpose? That is borrowing. If you borrow at this rate, the rate of interest will go up, because money supply is reduced and the demand for money remains the same. That is why rate of interest will go up in order to increase the competition in the lending rates. So this is a simple relationship between price level and the rate of interest. Now considering about money supply. So here what happens? Money supply is crucial for economic development. Whenever you have a growth in the money supply, it means a mild inflation is very good. That is, expansion in the money supply is very good to induce the investment. It means whenever the inflation is around 2% or 3%, 2 to 3%, is good for the economy, because the businessmen will induce investment and they will invest more in the economy because their money is growing continuously. So that is why the mild inflation, whatever we are referring in terms of macroeconomics, that is known as creeping inflation. So creeping inflation is always good for the economy. So ultimately we can say that the money supply is related to the economic development. Now what happens how? Suppose the Indian economy of 1991, when the economy was less, was short, and obviously the economy was not wide enough before 1991. But after 1991, with the arrival of foreign companies, a lot of private participation in the economy, lot of economic activity newly organized after the reform process. That is why after that we consider that we need more money supply. If you have increase in the population, then only we can increase the money supply. So money supply depends on the stage of economic development in the economy. So there are 5 stages of development given by Walt Whitman Rostow, one of the major economists. You can also refer to another video for these 5 stages. Now we are considering about the money supply. Now understand the difference between the two. So stock variable and the flow variable. So here we can say that a money supply is a stock variable. Now understanding this important concept, money supply, we can say that till at this point, it means suppose I am making this video in October 2017. So we can say that till October 2017, the total amount of money supply is this. So it means it is a stock concept, and we can stock variable. We can put a bar and say that till October 2017, this much money supply is in the Indian economy. But considering about flow variable, like a GNP is your flow variable. It means it depends on the production of goods and services. Now flow variable is already in a fluctuation. Like for example, GNP data comes every year. That is for every fiscal, like 2016-17, 2017-18. So it is a flow variable and changes every year. It means we cannot say that GDP till October 2017. So this is a flow variable. It means it can change. So these are two important concepts that requires in the supply of money. Now the concept that who controls the supply of money. So first of all, in India, the central bank, that is for our case RBI, Reserve Bank of India. For the case of India, Reserve Bank of India controls the money supply with the help of government, because there are 1 rupee note and the coins issued by the government. So that is why the government is also plays an important role. Apart from these two, public and commercial banks, also plays their part. Now understanding the most important thing, the word public. Here the word public consists of households, firms. These two are important. And the third one is institutions. Other than central bank and the government. So we can write like this: institutions other than RBI and government. So institution other than RBI and government. Now the important point is why we are excluding Reserve Bank of India and government. Because these two, the latter two, are the creator and the producers of the money supply. So that is why the cash reserves held by central bank and the government is not used for transaction purpose and also for speculation purpose. That is why we are excluding these two institutions. Now consider the two important components of money supply. So here we write components of money supply. Components of money supply. So there are two. Cash held with public and demand deposit with public. Demand deposit with public. So demand deposit with public. Now these are the two components of money supply. So first we will look on the first part, that is cash held with public. So here the number one is currency issued by Reserve Bank of India. Second, notes and coins in circulation. Notes and coins in circulation. And the third one is small coins in circulation. So these three are the major points comes under cash held with the public. It means whatever the currency issued by Reserve Bank of India, it means the same money supply in the economy is printed by Reserve Bank of India. It means the fresh currency which is available to after demonetization, it is issued by Reserve Bank of India. Now notes and coins in circulation, so whatever the notes, rupees, like a new 50 rupees note, a new 100 or 200 rupees note is issued by whatever in the circulation. Small coins like rupee 1 and a rupees 2 coin is also in circulation. So that is why this is cash held with the public. Now understanding the most important point in this, that we need to exclude cash that is held by banks in the public sector, because that cash is not used in these of the following. So that is why cash at bank we are excluding from these above three. Now one of the important concept that what RBI follows by issuing currency. So there is a concept called minimum reserve system. Minimum reserve system. So RBI followed this system in the year 1957. It means after 1957, RBI issued currency by following the method of a minimum reserve system. In this minimum reserve system, RBI can issue any amount of currency but had to keep 200 crore rupees as a reserve. 200 crore, in that 115 crores is of gold and rupees 85 crores of foreign currency, that is foreign exchange, foreign currency, 85 crores. So this becomes a 200 crore. This is the minimum reserve system. Now understanding why we are doing or maintaining this reserve system. Before 1957, the RBI following the concept known as a proportional reserve system. In that proportional reserve system, whatever the currency RBI was introducing in the economy, RBI had to keep that equal amount of gold with the, when we compare equal amount of gold to the issue of new fresh currency. So that is why, but after following minimum reserve system, only the 200 crore RBI has to maintain. So that is why we consider about this minimum reserve system as important. Now considering about the fact that if Indian economy is growing, that is why we do not have so much amount of gold that we can proportionately convert it into gold. So that is why in modern economies there is inconvertibility of the currency with the gold. So these are two important concepts of cash with the public. Now here in the second part, if we consider this second part, there are two types of deposit. So first one is demand deposit and the second one is time deposit. So demand deposit and the time deposit. We withdraw money in the demand deposit account with the help of check. Now understanding check is not a legal tender, but it is considered as a transactional value. So it is a basis on the trust. The check is given to the withdrawal, and we can withdraw money with the help of check when we have the money in the demand deposit account. Time deposit account is a bit transitory. It means for some period of time the money is fixed in the bank. But we can also withdraw in the time deposit, but it takes a little bit more time. If we consider about the fractional reserve system, so banks can create credit with the help of fractional reserve system. Apart from this, the important is a demand deposit is a fiduciary account. So this is important term. Fiduciary means is a basis on the trust. So trust between the customer and the banking sector is known as fiduciary. Now here the legal tender is known as fiat money. So here we can write like this, fiat money. So rupee is a fiat money. Fiat means it is ordered given by government. So it is a legal tender. It means the value of 100 rupees note is not the actual value. It is on the basis of face value. the piece of paper and written as 100 rupees. So that is the modern currency known as fiat money. It means it is given by the order of government, and that is a legal tender. Now the one more important, the fractional reserve system. So banks can create credit with the help of fractional reserve systems. Fractional reserve system we'll discuss in the separate video. So keep connected with this channel Ecoholics. Hope you like this video. If you have any doubt, suggestion or recommendation, you can mention in the comment box. And please like, share and subscribe this channel and this video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day once again. Stay connected.